There was a 20-year-old dancer who was selected for what people in North Korea called the closest seat. She was assigned to the Mansudae art troupe in Pyongyang, and soon after, she was pulled into special duties training for the so-called Kippe Joy Brigade. It wasn't just dance and singing. She was even taught how to pour drinks, down to the smallest detail. But behind that glittering facade, one sentence she overheard by chance changed everything. What did she hear? And why did that moment push her to consider a choice? She never wanted to make a choice simply to survive. Now, let me begin the story. If you find this testimony meaningful, I'd be grateful for your support with a like and a subscription. Your participation helps us continue bringing more voices and accounts like this to light. It all began in the spring of 2019. I was 20, fresh out of the dance department at Pyongyang University of Arts, the day I was assigned to the Mansudae art troupe. In the yard of our home on Changkwang Street, bright yellow forsythias were in bloom. My grandmother had planted them before she passed away. Every spring, they returned like clockwork, as if they were welcoming our family back. Mihyang, you made it into Mansudae. My father came home holding the assignment notice. My mother cried. Even my father, a party official, was beaming. Mansudae was one of the most prestigious troops in Pyongyang. For our family, it was an honor. That evening, my father even made tofu and kimchi special just for me. 3 months later, an organization instructor called me aside. Comrade Park Mihyang, you've been given a special assignment. The Kippomjo Pleasure Squad, he said, a special arts unit that serves the supreme leader. Your father's loyal party work and your talent have been recognized. Chosen from tens of thousands, only a handful. My chest swelled. I thought I could become a daughter my parents would be proud of. That night I called home. Mom, I was selected for a special unit. My mother went quiet for a long moment and then she cried. But her crying felt off. Not pure joy. There was something in it that sounded like fear. My classmate Sunhee was selected too. Mihyang, we made it. Sunhee was tall, confident, and she had a beautiful singing voice. We were placed in the same dorm room. We became friends. Then the special training began. Not just dance, singing, instruments, even how to pour alcohol the right way. Training ran from 6 in the morning to 10 at night. It was brutal, but I endured it with pride. I told myself I was chosen. One day, it got so hard I cried in the corner of the practice room. My younger sister, Yoonhee, was jealous. You're so lucky, Yoonhee. I said, Yoonhee, study hard, and you can do it too. Looking back, I don't even know how I could have been that naive. That's how I stepped into Pyongyang's glamorous world. It didn't take long to learn the truth. What looked like gold was really a gilded cage. My first reception was in the winter of 2020, the year COVID hit, and the border slammed shut completely. On TV, they called it an American biological weapon and bragged about ironclad quarantine. In Pyongyang, rumors spread that rations were failing, and rice prices at the Jangmadang street market were skyrocketing. But the villa we served in was a different planet. The first time I walked into the banquet hall, I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. King crab? Abalone. Red king crab? They said it was flown in from Japan. French wine. Scotch whiskey. Bottles so expensive, they said, one could cost more than a person's yearly pay. Kim Jong-un walked in. My heart pounded. Good atmosphere tonight, he said almost casually. But his eyes were cold. The way he looked at us wasn't the way you look at people. It was the way you inspect property. The banquet lasted all night. Comrade, come here. Sit next to me, one senior official told my classmate Jong-hee. She was only 19, a simple, innocent girl from Hamgyong province. After that night, Jong-hee disappeared. We didn't see her for a month. When she returned, she wasn't the same. Her eyes were empty. Not long after, we were told she had married some provincial official. People were hungry, but here, foreign food overflowed. Looking at that table, I couldn't stop thinking. One night's cost could feed 100 Pyongyang citizens for a month. I remembered my grandfather's stories. Even in the poverty after the Korean War, he said, it wasn't like this. At one banquet, I overheard a conversation. They say people are starving in the provinces. Shh. That's not something you say. Two officials. That night, as I poured drinks, my hands shook. On the phone, my mother tried to sound cheerful. "Mihyang, rice is hard to find at the Jangmadang these days. But we're fine, so don't worry." Her voice sounded like she was forcing it. Sunny noticed I was changing. "Mihyang, what's wrong with you lately?" Her eyes didn't look warm. They looked guarded, like she was measuring me. Somewhere deep inside, something began to crack. In the summer of 2022, I was summoned to the organization department. "Comrade Park Mei-hyung, you will undergo an ideological review." My chest dropped. For a week, they interrogated me every day. "Do you have complaints?" "No." "It's an honor," I said. I denied everything. I clung to the only answer that kept people alive. Then the result came. "You have been selected for overseas assignment. You will work at our restaurant in Beijing, China." On the surface, it sounded like a promotion. But I understood. This wasn't a reward. It was exile. I went home and told my parents. My father let out a long sigh. "I'm sorry," he said. "I don't have the power to protect you." My mother cried. My sister Yoonhee asked, "When will you come back?" Soon, I lied. I arrived at Pyongyangwan in Chaoyang District, Beijing. It was Chinese soil, but it felt like North Korea. I saw Sunhee again. I should have felt relieved. Instead, I felt my guard go up. The manager laid down the rule. Each person must earn $3,000 a month. $3,000. More than most people in my hometown could imagine. We worked from 10 in the morning until midnight. 6 women in one room. 3 bunk beds. 1 bathroom. Every Monday was ideological study. Watch each other. If anyone acts suspiciously, report it immediately. Sunhee nodded harder than anyone. One day, a Chinese customer left a newspaper behind. It had South Korean news. I took it to the bathroom and read it in secret. North Korea's food crisis is severe. Human rights abuses under the Kim regime. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. "Mihyang, what are you doing?" Sunhee's voice came from behind me. I flinched and hid the paper. Sunhee leaned in. "Be careful. This place is even more dangerous." It wasn't advice. It was a threat. That night, sleep wouldn't come. This wasn't freedom. It was freedom with chains. The cage looked different, but it was still a cage. Through the window, I watched people move freely down the street. They were free. I was still trapped. In the fall of 2024, I was sent to Shanghai. We served top officials in a hotel, men from the inner circle. One of them looked at me and asked, "How old are you?" 25, I said. He smiled. "That's the age to get married, isn't it?" My stomach turned. I thought of Jong-hee, forced into marriage, disappearing into someone else's life. A few days later, a letter arrived from Yoon-hee. It was in my father's handwriting. "Mihyang, I miss you. I'm waiting for the day we can meet again." I could read what he wasn't saying. He didn't know if I would ever return. Tears blurred the page. Sunhee noticed. "Mihyang, you're getting too sentimental. Watch yourself." Another warning. That night, I made a decision. I couldn't live like this forever. The word began circling in my head. Escape. Defection. A thought so dangerous it felt like fire. There was a Korean-Chinese businessman, Mr. Park. One day he said quietly, "It's hard, isn't it?" I didn't answer. He continued, "I'm saying this because we share blood. If it gets unbearable, there are other roads." I knew what he meant. That day, I couldn't bring myself to respond. In January 2025, a co-worker was caught watching a USB with a South Korean drama. She was sent back to Pyongyang immediately. They say she's going to a political prison camp. And they said her family was taken too. Guilt by association. One mistake and everyone pays. That night, I knew I couldn't wait anymore. I went to Mr. Park. "Sir, can you help me?" He stared at me. "It's a dangerous road." "I know," I said, "but I can't live like this." Preparation began. I gathered $3,000 for the broker. I had to avoid Sunhee's eyes. I wrote Yoonhee a final letter. "Someday, we'll meet again." I made one last phone call home. "Mom, I think I'll be returning to Pyongyang soon." It was a lie. "My daughter is finally coming home." My mother's bright voice tore me apart. March 15th, 2025. The day was set. Every night, nightmares, but there was no turning back. Saturday, March 15th. The longest day of my life. I had to act normal. In my bag, my passport, $3,000 in cash, and one family photo. A picture we'd taken at Moranbong in Pyongyang. At 4 p.m., I got permission to go out. I'm going to the pharmacy. Be back by 6, they said. As I stepped out of the restaurant, I looked back once. I wasn't coming back. The broker, Mr. Kim, was waiting. Follow me, he said. We headed to Beijing West Railway Station. 18 hours to Kunming, he warned. Don't talk to anyone. The train pulled away. Beijing grew smaller. My phone rang. It was the restaurant. I didn't answer. I turned it off. 18 hours. No sleep. My mother's face kept flashing in my mind. Tears came without warning. We reached Kunming. I hid in a small inn for 2 days. Chinese police are tightening checks on North Koreans, Mr. Kim said. On the third night, we headed toward the border. 5 hours through mountain roads. After midnight, the car stopped. Cross that mountain and you're in Vietnam, he said. Chinese patrols may shoot. We started climbing. Total darkness. I fell more than once. Around 3 a.m., a light suddenly appeared. Get down, he hissed. Patrol. I held my breath so hard it hurt. Grandma, please help me, I prayed. The patrol passed. The sky began to lighten. Across that valley is Vietnam, he whispered. Tears poured out. I crossed the valley. And then I stepped onto the other side. Vietnam. The first free ground I had ever touched. My legs gave out. I collapsed and cried. I spent a week in a tiny room near Hanoi. No proper window. They said if Vietnamese police caught me, I'd be sent back to China. Alone, all I could think about was my family. Back home, it must have been chaos by now. My mother must have been crying. A week later, Mr. Kim returned. Pay 500 more, he demanded. I handed over what was left. We took a bus to Ho Chi Minh City, 20 hours. In Ho Chi Minh, my money ran out fast. Some days I survived on one piece of bread. I found work at a Vietnamese restaurant. Dishes and cleaning. $50 a week. You're North Korean? Someone asked. No, I lied. I'm Korean Chinese. Behind the restaurant was a small room where 5 people slept. 3 Vietnamese, 1 Myanmar worker, and me. Poor people. Tired people. People just trying to live. One day, South Koreans came in. I heard Korean. The sound hit me like a wave. I wanted to run to them. I couldn't. After a month, I saved a little. Then someone warned me, you should leave soon. Police are starting raids on foreigners. A Korean church worker, Mr. Lee, came to see me. The restaurant owner introduced me. She's from North Korea. He looked at me. Do you want to go to South Korea? Yes, I whispered. More than anything. Okay, he said. We'll help. We're the same people, aren't we? Like families separated by the Korean War. Tears ran down my face. The church covered the cost to get me to Thailand. I boarded a plane. My first flight in my life. The plane lifted toward Bangkok. One step closer. In April, I arrived in Bangkok. I went to a church where Pastor Kim was waiting. Welcome, he said. The warmth in his voice made me cry again. They gave me a small room behind the church. The pastor's wife served kimchi stew. I ate, trying not to sob over a bowl of food. Usually you go to the South Korean embassy and request protection, they told me. It takes about a week. A week? I could barely believe it. Then the problem started. Police are arresting a lot of illegal residents these days, someone said. A few North Koreans have been caught. My chest tightened. I hid inside the church. 1 week passed. Then 2. Anxiety ate at me. There was another defector there, an older woman named Mrs. Jung. Hang on, she told me. You'll make it. By the 3rd week, I had no money. Don't worry about that, they said. We're the same people. It's been more than 70 years since families were torn apart. In the 4th week, Pastor Kim rushed in, face pale. It's bad, he said. Police are looking for defectors. They say China asked them to. He grabbed my arm. We have to go to the embassy. Right now. We moved fast. On the street, I saw police vehicles. My heart wouldn't stop pounding. Then I saw at the embassy. The South Korean flag was waving. I started crying the moment I saw it. If I crossed that line, I could become a citizen of the Republic of Korea. I walked to the gate. "I'm from North Korea," I said. "I'm here to request protection." A consular officer came out. "Come inside," he said. "We will protect you." The moment I stepped through the door, my legs went weak. I dropped to the floor and cried. "It's okay," they told me. "You'll be on a flight to Korea soon." A week later, they handed me a ticket. Departure is May 11th. My new life suddenly had a date. May 11th. The plane touched down at Incheon Airport. Through the window, I saw South Korean soil. Mrs. Young squeezed my hand. "Mihyang, you made it?" As I walked toward immigration, tears wouldn't stop. Staff from the Ministry of Unification were waiting. "Welcome," they said. The moment I heard that word, I fell to my knees and cried. They took me to Hanawon, the resettlement center in Anseong, Gyeonggi Province. That first night I lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Clean bedding. A room of my own. So this is what freedom feels like. Training began. On the internet I typed North Korea. Stories poured out luxury, repression, human rights abuses. The scenes I had witnessed were already out in the world. One night, I walked into a convenience store. It was 2 a.m., and the lights were blazing, shelves packed with goods. Items I'd only seen at those elite banquets in Pyongyang were sitting here like they were nothing. That was freedom, ordinary abundance. I started counseling. "You may have trauma," they said. At night, I still had nightmares. Dreams of the State Security Department dragging me away. Dreams of my family being taken. 2 months in, a journalist came to me. "I want to tell the truth about the Kippumjo." I wrestled with it all night, but I knew I had to speak. Someone had to. I gave the interview. Even when the border was sealed in 2020, Kim Jong-un held lavish banquets every week, I said. Tables covered with food worth tens of thousands of dollars, while people in Pyongyang were starving. "The women in the Kippumjo are selected regardless of their will," I said. "We were tools." My voice shook, but I didn't stop. After 3 months, the program ended. I moved into a small one-room apartment on the outskirts of Seoul. It was tiny, but it was mine, and I was free. The 25 million people still in the North deserve this freedom too. If reunification ever comes, I want to return to Pyongyang. I want to sit at one table again with my mother, my father, and Yoon-hee. I pray for that day. This morning, I opened my window. Every day, I realize how precious it is to breathe without fear. I'm preparing for college. I want to study social welfare and help other defectors. And if North Korea becomes free one day, I want to work there, too. I work part-time at a convenience store. The kindness of older customers, people who say, "Take care," as they pass, keeps me going. In North Korea, we watched each other. Here, we encourage each other. To the elders who built this country from the ashes of war, thank you. Without your sacrifice, someone like me could never have started over. At night, I think about my family. Mom, Dad, Yoon-hee. I miss them. But I refuse to let go of hope that we'll meet again. I'm saving money to bring Yoon-hee out. If my sister can come here and taste freedom, that's my wish. I go to meetings with other defectors, people who carry the same scars. We remind each other we're not alone. I dream of a reunified Korea. On that day, I want to ride a train back to Changkwang Street. I want to stand by the forsythias in our yard, hold my mother's hand and laugh with Yoon-hee. Until that day, I'll live with everything I have. I'll study, I'll work, I'll keep building my future, and I'll keep telling the truth about the North. In college, I want to earn a social worker's license and work at a support center for defectors. I want to reach out to those who feel lost and afraid. Someday, I want to write a book. The journey from Pyongyang to Beijing, from Vietnam to Thailand, and finally, to South Korea. I want to write it in simple words, words elders can read easily. To the citizens of the Republic of Korea, thank you. Thank you for welcoming me on unfamiliar ground. Your kindness has become my hope. Today I breathe freely and I dream of tomorrow. Some days are hard, but I won't give up. Because now I am free. Because now I am a South Korean citizen. Thank you.